Alrighty, I have had some tremendous success with having people liking me talking about the videos and what's going on, so I'm going to try alright. Coming into the construction, this area was finished quite some time ago in preparation for this widening, and this bridge can obviously handle somewhere between 8 and 10 lanes. This area was finished, but we haven't been allowed to go to 4 lanes because it's not 4 lanes all the way down. Oh well. Coming up to 191, we have the new on-ramp over on the left, which is quite nice in comparison to what we used to have, which was almost a hairpin. Going under this new 191 bridge. From what I can tell, the off-ramp and on-ramp here on both sides of 191 are fully completed. So this is how it's going to be moving forward. We're just going to have all of the lanes open up next year. Now, this area right here coming into the construction is astoundingly dangerous in the rain. I have literally hydroplaned while slowing down, and I didn't gain traction until I was at 50 miles an hour. And as you can see, it is not level. It is moving all over the place. It's a temporary road, but it puddles horribly there. So please, slow down. Dear heavens, slow down. I was hydroplaning at 50 miles an hour, and I was slowing down. Okay? But we're not here to talk about that. The stuff on the left. The new pavement, the new concrete is down up to where the concrete machines are, obviously. They are adding gravel there. And then this section hasn't been gravelled. It kind of puzzles me, but you know, maybe they're just not fully completed. They are graveling that area right in front of the bridge. From what I can tell, they're going to cut this down because that roadway is lower and the bridge is lower than the current height. So when they get this bridge done, they're going to cut that down, and we're going to have a longer slope going up the hill than we currently do. Now the stuff on the left is also getting leveled and graveled. These sidewalls, this one's complete, but the stuff close to the bridge isn't. Puzzles me a bit what they didn't get done, or if that's an oversight or not. Over on the left we have some massive piles of dirt. I wonder if that's all plumbing work for drainage right there at the bottom of the hill, but it feels like there's more there than needed. So I'm thinking that they're going to take that down to near the airport somehow. I don't imagine that they will do that or why, but you know, they just have a monster pile of dirt there. So they've got another one, a couple of them in there. Just a lot of dirt to move. Big news on the bridge, the Parkway Bridge that is. We now have the lane shift, which this was not quite ready for. They were paving, or grinding and paving, the area that goes underneath the middle section, and the crane in this video was not shifted over. It was still overlapping some of the lane to the left. They have moved it, they have finished that, and we are now driving down the left side and over the new bridge over the auxiliary road. This section, the old bridge has been torn out. I wonder if they're going to take that new bridge out. I kind of doubt it, but at the same time, I don't know what they're going to do. It's up in the air on my end. As you can see, they are getting fully ready to have the lanes all shift over to the new pavement going from the auxiliary road, from the Parkway Bridge, all the way down to the airport. But it's not quite completed. In this video, it's been 2 weeks and they've done it. So, as you can see, we've still got the old on-ramp, which they have extended now. That work right there is to extend the on-ramp over. And they are starting to dig out this area so that they can grind all of this stuff off and create the new road. They did have some major drainage pipes stuck in all of this grass over here that they had to dig out, and it was kind of funny to see them running a track hoe excavator to scrape the weeds off the top of them and dig them out. I imagine I'll have to put that into a time lapse or something, one of the compilations. But it was a lot of stuff to regather. They have cut out the first far lane on the left there, and they got the excavator track hoe there. Oh yeah, well, there's the grinder. They put some gravel there. I don't know why, but you know, it's part of the process. And all those pipes for drainage. Now, if you watch closely, the drainage grates that they have set up are higher than the roadway in some of these areas here, and so they're going to have to raise the road to that level. Maybe they're not on this side, maybe they, I don't know, but one side or the other is going to have those drainage grates covered, and that's going to take a little bit of earth moving. Is there one right here? I don't remember, but I just remember seeing them. I think there's a couple through there when we were driving the other way before they shifted us over. I was like, they're going to have to raise some of that at least 2 or 3 feet. So here we are going past the newly expanded green lawn of the airport. I don't understand why they did all that work for just expanding the flat space. But, you know, I guess it's security, maybe. There goes some paving for the lane shift on the other side. And I got that big old pile of dirt there. I wonder if that's going to be taken down and moved somewhere. Who knows? It remains to be seen. And this part has been shifted over, so we're driving fully on the southbound lanes. I don't care if that's east or west. This is north and south, so you figure out the math. Some politician decided that it's more east and west than north and south, and I look on a map and it's not, so whatever. The rest area here is open. Awesome to have that. The far side was open for a short while, but we're not going to be using that again until they get the pavement finished on the other side, which, while it's not fun, is not the worst in the world. And I know I'm doing close to 70 and these people passed me. Just crazy what some people do. But coming down to the Cane Creek Bridge, this was interesting to watch happen. When they started building it, it was like, why are they building over there? And now it's like, oh, this is why. But the Cane Creek Bridge is done, and they are almost to paving on the far side. I'll have to remember that when we come back over it coming the other way. But this is a nice, great drag strip right here. About a mile, 2 miles of, I think it's about a mile, of just total straight shot. Probably the only spot in the area that is as perfectly straight as this. Maybe it's the Eisenhower requirement of 1 mile out of every 10 has to be perfectly straight for an airplane to land on. Don't know. Left side silence wall. Turn off your egg. Is looking complete. Don't think they need any more silence wall there. I wonder if they're going to put a silence wall on the other side. Kind of doubt it, because that's just a business, but just a business, you know? Who knows? The temporary on-ramp has been torn out, and they are reshaping this area. They've got the new on-ramp set up. They're reshaping this area so that it will allow for a proper drainage and setup and everything. New on-ramp. It was sketchy as crap until they got that bridge fully finished, because you had no space. But now that we're all running on the bridge, it's plenty of space and plenty of acceleration zone and everything. Quite a nice layout there. We are passing under, this isn't Fanning Bridge, that's the connection. Oh yeah, that's for the Advent Health. What is the name of that road? I'll have to look that up, and I don't remember right off. But that's the new road for Advent Health, because the old one was scary. Quite. All of that area on the far side is getting worked up to paving. Not going to take a whole lot of effort to do that, because it's basically a completed road. It just needs to be refinished. Then we come up here, turn the left-hander on the uphill, and go past the way station. I wonder if we're going to have 6 months or less to finish that paving. They have to rebuild the way station though, so I think we're going to have, well, whether or not we have less than 6 months, that way station is going to take a bit of effort. After they got to finish up the silence wall too, so they're not going to rebuild the way station until they get that silence wall done, which is pretty close. But they got the new way station on the right side here, on the, what is that? We're facing south. That's the west side. But there's a whole lot of silence wall to get put in, and they're trying to do everything all together. I think I looked up the name of that bridge, that road, I don't remember, but you can see something going on. Another straight shot. And we're going to pass the old farm that's now a apartment complex. I remember all growing up, it used to be fun to come down here and look at the 2 silos on the right and the barn that was just off the freeway. And now it's just a great big apartment complex community. A little bit sad, but it is what it is. And the big thing that was the holdup for doing this end of the freeway, nice, was getting all the bridges redone, because there are so many bridges over the road. But once they got those done, they were able to start working on actually widening the freeway. From what I understand, this is going to be 3 lanes on this side and 3 lanes on the other side until you get up to the airport, which is exit 40 if I remember correctly. So we do a shift over to the other side because they haven't fully finished the southbound paving, or at least it hasn't set and, you know, finished work. And I think we just passed the rock crusher if I remember correctly. They're building a great big subdevelopment on both sides of that road. It's going to be massive. I feel sorry for all the cookie cutter homes in there. I just hate that kind of crap. But, you know, a house is a house. The bridge there, Clear Creek, that has the beams on it, and it looks mostly set up for concrete, which means that within the next 1 to 2 weeks, it's going to be getting paved. And it's going to take about a month to pave it, and another 2 to 3 weeks after that to put in all the side work and the finishing and paint it. So easily 2 months before the Clear Creek Road is completely finished. But that will complete both sides of, thank you, the bridge there, because that we're driving now on the new bridge. More paving up to here. I decided to take the off-ramp, the first off-ramp instead of the cloverleaf, because I wanted to get a look at what this is looking like. Looks like they're going to be cutting down this off-ramp so it'll be a gentler slope going up to the stoplight here. Come up to the stoplight and I cut off the recording because we sat there for, I swear, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But that's the way the stoplight is. It takes a lot of traffic coming off the freeway. And I jumped completely across the bridge. Oh dear. That's going to be different. Well, let me pause. I know that I have the trip across the bridge, and it doesn't look like that's getting changed at all, but it was neat to see all of the work on the sides and to look at the World of Clothing building. That's going to be a storage building. Dear heavens, people, get rid of crap. Don't just store it. And I turned around and I headed back the other way. So this is getting onto the freeway. And this on-ramp doesn't really look like it's going to change at all. The bottom end of it will, probably, simply because it's further over. But really, this doesn't look like it's going to change. I like the parked equipment there. But then again, this hasn't been touched. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they tear up this side, because that on-ramp will have to change then. Good. Having a little snack. So, coming back to Clear Creek Road, Clear Creek Bridge. This retaining wall is finished. That silence wall is pretty much completely finished. We've got a traffic jam. So, I'm going to have to edit this so it matches. Off to the right, we are very close to the edge of where the road is going to be permanently. So it'll be interesting to see how they balance this out so that we have a shoulder and we don't have to have the barrier there to be a safeguard against the retaining wall getting destroyed. The other side of this bridge looks like they've got a crane there, waiting on something big to go on. That's probably for the Clear Creek Ridge. Going under here, we have dump trucks come in from the grinding plant and bring rock and other stuff up and down the road. I haven't looked at how that road layout is, but they have the grinding plant up here in the next clearing. Where they have been grinding up all the rock for this construction, and it's a big old machine. Not as big as a stationary one, but you know, it does quite a lot. So they've got the first section completed, but then they have the outsides done, and the middle wasn't paved with the concrete, and I'm a bit confused as to why they did that, but you know, that's their choice. Maybe it helps with expansion and contraction for curing. But they've got this first mile or so fully concreted, letting it set. They're going to put asphalt paving on the sides for median, or for, I'm sorry, not median. What is it called? Shoulder. For the shoulder. My tractor's waiting on something. There's the part that isn't paved in the middle. Maybe it's just a smaller machine than the one they're using on the north end. Maybe this can only do one lane at a time. But they've got this lane all the way down. They're going to come back and connect it and then go back the other way, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what happens and how that turns out. But they do have all that filter paper down. They just need to smooth it out, put the rebar on it, and there's the paver. It is a much smaller machine than the one on the other end. But they're extending all this filter paper. If you want to know more about why filter paper is important, there's a guy called Practical Engineering who has a entire video on how potholes form, and most of it's about dirt getting pushed out with water when there's a crack in the road, and it just makes a bigger and bigger hole as time goes on. So there's some more filter paper rolls, and here comes the weigh station and the silence wall. I wonder if they'll extend that silence wall a little more. It looks like they're using it as a access road right now, so it's not going to happen soon. Got another look at the two weigh stations. I wonder if they'll change out that building or just change out all of the equipment underneath it. That's a big pit there for that scale. Going to be a mess. Ooh, drilling rig. They're drilling the holes for more silence wall posts. So they're not done with extending the silence wall. Wonder where that's going to end up. Water and roller. Got some gravel there that's going to be spread out. So they put down gravel, put down filter paper, and then they put down the concrete. This area is continuing to be leveled, obviously. Got to get it all perfect so that the road is going to be smooth on top of it, which is a big deal. But it looks pretty smooth. I don't remember if that's gravelled or not. Doesn't look like it completely. Maybe it is. Anyhow, as you can see, this side of the road really isn't taking much preparation, because this is all the preparation was on the other side, the side that we're driving now, to level it, compact it, prepare it. And there's a big old compactor thing. Those gotta weigh 20-30 tons. Okay, so that up to there was gravelled, and then we got this roller, and they haven't finished prepping that part. That's interesting. We get shifted over the other side and go by the bridge. And we're going to get off at Fletcher because I had something to go to down at Fletcher. But it's neat to see this bridge 2/3 done. It'll be interesting to see how the lane shift works and watch them get this new bridge, this bridge, torn out and replaced, because it shouldn't take a whole lot of work, but it's still going to take at least a couple of months. We'll see how that goes. So here we go off on Fletcher. It looks like they're going to be changing this exit at least a little bit because they're doing some reshaping on the left there. So this might end up being a 2-lane exit all the way up. And 𝐴𝐸𝐵 and all this stuff. So yeah, mistake. I misread these traffic cones, and looking at it now I wonder why I did, but at the same time I just did. Oh well. First person on the new on-ramp. I got to about 3/4 of the way down the ramp and went, oh, I just screwed up. So I was looking for a way to get onto the other side of the construction, and I didn't see one. So I got up to this bridge and just said, you know, I'm just going to have to turn around. This isn't good. So this is what it looks like unpaved and almost ready to be paid attention to, or finished up, whatever. But yeah, go past these cones and flip a U-ey and head back. Well, that was interesting. A little bit of non-excitement. The real exciting part was coming back the other way. I saw where the concrete hadn't been finished, and I needed to not go into that hole, and so I had to keep going to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Yeah, pay very close attention of not missing those holes, or actually missing those holes, not hitting those holes. I had to go way over to the left to not fall into those and destroy the van, which would have been a very bad day. Very, very bad day. Yeah, explaining that one to police and construction people, not something I wanted to do. So go back up here, flip a U-ey and get back onto the correct on-ramp, which hasn't been taken out yet. Probably got some really weird looks when I did this. And it honestly looks like they're going to build a retaining wall there. We'll see what happens with that. They may reshape it, they may not. Who knows? Going past all this equipment again. So this bridge is the newly widened one. I just remember that before they started this construction, they did have to repave this, re-asphalt it, because it was so rough through here. It was horrible. Potholes and jumpy road all over the place. But it was definitely raining. We had a big old thunder boomer pass through. It was really hard to see for a little while there. But it was back down to fairly reasonable raining at this point. So getting a better look at the Cane Creek Bridge. I cannot say that. Tongue twister. Cane Creek Bridge. It looks like it's ready to be painted and finished up. Really. So not much longer, maybe another month, and we'll be shifted over to the new pavement, and they can rework the on-ramps and reshape that hill. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but I really don't think that it'll be another month before we are driving on the other side, and maybe we have both sides open and we'll have the rest area open and all that. It'll be interesting to see how this turns out, because I don't know what section is going to be done first. But it really does look like everything from Cane Creek, or from the Fletcher on-ramp, is pretty much done. And they're just waiting to do the lane shift and finish the last little bit off. Coming up to the airport here, we got the other side waiting for shoulder work. I don't know if they have all the drainage in place. That may be what we're waiting on. I don't know. It seems like they did an awful lot of center line work and put in drainage pipe before they started any paving, along with, you know, getting all the bridges done. But I don't know. So here we go on the shift over to the other side, and it was raining heavy. I guess I was running the wipers harder. So looking at the other side, pre-painting and pre-shift, but it was basically done at this point. All it needed was painting, maybe a couple other minor touch-up things, because we were shifted over that week, that coming week. Nice to have a proper on-ramp. And all those rollers and everything waiting on the last bit of asphalt to be done. That is Rockwood Road to the right there, which I do on the bridge updates so I can see some of the background work. I really wish that I'd driven that more when construction started, because they did a lot of work over there on that side. But I didn't. Oh well. Boo-hoo. Anyhow. So we come up to the silence wall at Glen Bridge. I was really impressed to see what they did here. I knew that they weren't going to leave it open. It didn't make sense to do that, but I didn't realize that they'd be putting that metal up as a silence wall. It's a neat idea. It's a lightweight thing that doesn't load down the bridge with literally tons of concrete like they can put on the open dirt. So we've got this long stretch. They have started some of the grinding on the other side. Not sure how fast that's going to go. It will be sad to not be able to drive down below and see the work as it goes on, but you know, they're tearing it all out, so what's the point? I'll have to make sure that I do a full run, or at least run from Long Shoals to be able to see what little I can of that work as they tear that all out and replace it. Going over the hill here, coming down to Long Shoals. Again, there's a lot of work for drainage going off the side and down the middle, and they have been really digging that out and doing changes, making changes underground there. And as we come up to Long Shoals, I wondered when they built this bridge why they made it so big. And it only dawned on me when we started riding on one side or the other that they built it specifically because they were planning on having this expansion. Even, good heavens, that was close to 10 years ago? At least 5. No, it had to have been 10. When they did this big intersection and bridge at Long Shoals. So coming up here to the hill, they are working on the off-ramp there. Less space for the off-ramp in the median, so they can still have people going out there. And they're probably going to have to change it later so they can concrete it. But this was heavy, heavy, heavy rain. Going across the auxiliary road bridge. Can't see much of anything on the other side, but they did have a big old claw on an excavator that they just ripped that bridge out with. It was really, I would have loved to have gotten an overhead shot of that if I could have done so safely, but I doubt that I could have. Would have taken being quite a ways away. But the bridge there, the crane, it will be interesting to see how quickly they move that crane over. I really haven't seen anybody at the bridge for, you know, the last 2 weeks. I've not really seen much of anything. They're doing some kind of prep somewhere else. Maybe they're down at the French Broad helping with that. Who knows? But that's going to be another 6 to 12 month project to get that done. Kind of wish I could see through all these trees, but when fall is done and we have that open, we'll be able to see a little bit more. Because there's something getting done over there. They've had a big old hole and drainage setups and all kinds of things. We'll see what it is. Again, this big old pile of dirt sitting here waiting to be moved back. And this side is now getting leveled. It's really getting prepped for gravel and paving. I wonder, there's some gravel there in fact. I wonder how fast they're going to be working to make that fully completed, because once that bridge is done, they're going to want to move everybody over there so they can tear out this asphalt and redo this in concrete. They got a lot of stuff there waiting on that to happen. The bridge is done up to the end. They're building the piers. Yeah, I guess it's piers on the north end there. Again, I think they're going to be cutting that down. It'll be interesting to see what they do there and how it ends up. And that section's mostly finished. This section, and then they got this section in between here that hasn't been fully finished. Maybe it's not compacting well enough. Maybe it's got something else. You know, maybe it's mechanical stabilization just hasn't been finished. I don't know. There's some sections that are done and some sections that are not, and that section doesn't look done. I don't know why. We'll just have to find out how fast it gets finished. And then all this concrete paving going up to 191, fully finished, just waiting on the shoulders and maybe some drainage work. I'm not sure. And then they're going to paint it and put us over there. Who knows when. But coming up on 191, we got this big old shift, and we have all 4 lanes open going up to 191 now, which is really nice. And of course I'm going to jump all the way to the other side because I go off to the left. It's fun to see the carnival and circus that they have in the I still call it the Biltmore Square Mall. It's the Asheville Outlets now. When those are there, they had a carnival there about a month ago now. They're probably going to have the circus there. I swear they've been there every September, October. So watch for that on the videos, because it's supposed to be a really neat Cirque du Soleil kind of show. Since they're not allowed to do animals anymore, the animal rights activists got a little bit too deep into it. Oh well. But here we go on the end of it, and that was a full run from north to south and south to north. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this was a good thing to see. And I hope that me talking you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.